like, oh, I'm really sorry I'm dressed this way, or I'm going to the gym. I'm like, you could come in your pajamas, just show up for yourself. And I think that's what we're just asking and inviting you to do. Show up for your health. And a lot of that starts with your mindset and how you treat it.
Today, it's your birthday. Not sure what that means? Let us introduce you to this powerful concept and our community. We are Helene and Christina, and we are on a mission to empower, teach, and remind women to celebrate themselves. Combined, we have over 35 years experience as therapists in private practice. Today, though, we come to you not as therapists, we come to you as your friends in this life stage with you. Our podcast promises to talk about the hard or uncomfortable stuff in a way to empower you, laugh along the way as part of our healing, and find joy in life. What sets us apart? We leave you gifts with each and every episode. Now that we're friends, let's go ahead and make this official. We would love to help you start your Thursday mornings, so make sure you follow the show wherever you listen and hop on our website at yourbirthdaypodcast.com and sign up to get our newsletter in your inbox weekly with our podcast links.
Friends, this is an important one for all of us. Me personally, watching the roller coaster of the health of my mother and then facing my own health challenge almost a decade ago makes this an episode that's a special one and a reminder that I definitely need to hear on repeat. If you know health is a gift, one to see as precious and needing to be taken care of, turn up the volume. Know someone that you care about deeply who may need to hear this episode? Text it to them as soon as we are done. It's like the greatest gift of love that you're asking them to invest in their health. So as always, we're going to turn up the volume, grab your beverage of choice, get comfy, and let's do this because this is truly and it's your birthday life. So before we start, I guess I have a question for all of you. Oh gosh, now I'm doing the Christina. I'm doing hell yeah. Got a question to start out with. So the question is, when was the last time you allowed yourself to pause and not just think about what your body looks like, but truly be grateful for what it does for you? It gives you the ability to get out of bed, to take a deep breath. Your body allows you to feel, to move, to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to talk about. Christina and I always invite you to go into your body, and we want to find health within it.
Yeah. This is I think this is one that women and all humans, I have male clients too who just really struggle with understanding that they are in a relationship with their bodies.
Or they need to be in a relationship.
Right. And it's like the most intimate relationship you're going to have in your entire life if you allow it.
Right.
And we could be abusive to it and beat it up. We could be avoidant and ignore it. Or we can dig deep and get in tune with it.
Right. I was going to say, kind of like what we talk about, like with feelings or anxiety, it's like leaning in, not running away from it, because the body's always going to catch up with you and it might sit your ass down. But if you have that ongoing relationship, checking in, noticing,
Yeah.
it's going to keep fueling you with the body that you desire, not just in looks again, in how you desire it in all aspects.
I talk about my mom and my mother-in-law a lot, right? And in this topic, they could not have been vastly different. Ironically, we are recording today and it's Joni's birthday, my mother-in-law. I know.
That keeps happening to us. Happy birthday, Joni, wherever you are.
I know. And she really, really, really worked hard to take care of her health, to make sure that she kept her body in a healthy place, sometimes a little over the top, but most of the time she would call herself in check.
Mhm.
And my mom could not have been more of the opposite. Like my
Wow.
mom would constantly say, "My days are numbered by the Lord. It doesn't matter what doctors say." And she struggled with diabetes for almost 30 years that led to some pretty horrific endings.
Wow.
And, just recently I was cleaning out one of my parents' homes and I still found candy hidden. It was so gross. I
Mm.
was like, oh, mom, really?
Right.
Because, and for me, after she passed away, was like, I want to do vastly different.
Right.
Like I was taking care of myself, but I was doing like the basics of what you have to do, but not the deep stuff of what you need to do. Right.
Right.
And it put me on a campaign to be like, I am not going to put my family through that. I'm not going to put myself through that to the best of my abilities.
Mm.
So how do I change this?
Well, and I love that you're using that as an example. And I'm going to say, like, hell yeah to Christina, because you definitely got wiser before I did. And then I guess for the audience, it's also thinking about like what was health like modeled to you? It's a little bit like what
Mhm.
we're posing to them.
Yes.
My mom got sick at age 14 and they did not know what was wrong with her. They traveled all over the country trying to find out answers. And that's when she was finally diagnosed with lupus. So my mom was very sick her entire life and then later on had breast cancer as well.
Wow.
So health to me just meant a little bit of like trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
It was really, I mean, that's how I would frame it. Like, it was always just like, just trying to stay alive, trying to stay out of the hospital, not trying to have a crisis. And then, I think you and I talk a lot about like gifts that we've been given, or at least myself, and maybe I never received it or I wasn't ready. Like, I even remember, when my daughter was 7 weeks old, she had meningitis.
Oh my gosh.
And they thought something was truly wrong with her, and I remember just being in the hospital with her, and I was like, "Ugh," like, I just went from being the daughter of a mom who's always sick, and now I'm the mom of a daughter who's sick. Like, I think illness and health was just so much around me, so when you and I are
Mm.
now gonna talk a little bit about, like, redefining health, I just wanna say, like, commending you to tell people that you can have stories of generations put before you
Mhm.
and that you can choose and feel empowered to do something different within those stories, even though the people in front of you had very hard lessons or things that were given to them. Because I'm usually a really good student, but I didn't adapt to it until several years ago. Because I was more like your age when I got sick and I was doing life really hard. So that's what we're talking about redefining health.
Yeah. Well, and I think, here's what I would say to people. If you are overdoing it with working
Mhm.
out and eating habits and, you aren't even allowing yourself a relaxation here or there, you're sick and you're still at the gym, you're feeling like, crap and you won't allow yourself to have cough syrup because it has sugar in it or something like that. Like that's to me no different than the person on the other side who's eating nothing healthy and putting toxins in their body and, really struggling to even get off the couch.
Right.
Those are both extremes. And what Helene and I are here to talk about is that health is not perfection
No,
and health is not doing it 100% of the time,
because we're
right?
human. Right.
Say that again.
Because we're human and none of us are wired to be perfect. And if you don't
Right.
hold grace for yourself, I think we're asking you to be lifelong learners within this relationship with your body and offering grace and breaking up with perfection because we're
Right.
human.
And that's just it. I think it reminds me of the episode that we did with Jamie on how, sometimes you go to the gym and it's just not a good workout day. And beating yourself up or torturing yourself or going back to the gym that day or things like that aren't going to make it better.
Right,
You're allowed bad days.
right,
You're allowed really good days. And if you're somebody who hasn't gone to the gym in years and the thought of going to the gym just feels like impossible, then start with a walk around the block.
right, right. It doesn't have
Maybe
to
it's
be
a
big,
walk to your mailbox.
right? Like when we talked about that, I had that client just who hadn't gone out for a while and was, kind of mentally beating herself up. And I said, just start with one mailbox and the next day see if you can do two and see if you can
Right.
then do three. Yeah,
Or if you
yeah,
don't have mailboxes, because like me, I live in the city and we have the
right.
door slot, then, one driveway at a time,
Oh, I like that too. Yeah,
one, one house at a time, one yard at a time.
right.
There's lots of things you can do. And, it's also learning how to thank your body.
Oh,
I
say that
think
again.
that is huge. It's learning how to thank your body. And I think when I learned that, I remember I was doing bar and we had a bar instructor, Barrett. I can't ever pronounce her name. Gargalia. I don't know. Anyway, she
Mm,
was phenomenal. And she said at the end of bar class, I don't know if she regularly said or it was just once, but she said, I want you as you lay here to thank your body.
mm,
Thank your body for what it has done for you today, what it has done for you yesterday, and what it will do for you tomorrow. And that was profound. That was like another profound gift just
yeah.
dropped onto me. Like, ooh, I don't thank my body. I just take it for granted.
And imagine, and that goes back to when this episode is called The Gift of Health, it's really the gift of the relationship within your body also.
Right.
When you can show appreciation, gratitude, and saying thank you for now, yesterday, and tomorrow, that right there is going to release a surge of endorphins, of feeling pride, proud, capable. There's a knowing when you
Mm.
feel seen and alive and thanking. So if you're even someone who loves positive affirmations, like, go give it to yourself. Just saying, "Thank
Absolutely.
you for showing up." It's kinda like what
Yeah.
you just said. I may not have had the best workout, but I had a workout. Drop the judgment. Don't do a disclaimer, good or bad.
Mhm.
"Thanks for working out. Thank you, body, for taking me here today."
Well, and I've talked with many a woman who will say, I really don't like to take a bath or I don't like to look at myself in the shower because it's an opportunity to criticize myself. And I challenge them, like, what if you got into the bathtub and you started at your toes and you thanked every part of your body for what it does for you?
Oh, like a progressive muscle relaxation, but
Yeah.
one full of so if you're not
Thank you.
familiar with progressive muscle relaxation exercise, like, which is really good for anxiety or grounding yourself, it's like going to all your body and, like, squeezing and then letting go, squeezing, letting go. But you're asking to go upward, notice all of it, just notice and offer the thank you. Oh, I love that.
Right. I mean, you know, thank your toes for keeping you stable,
Mhm.
right? Without them, you fall over, you know, move your way up. I even say, like if you know me, I got a nice size ass. And I will thank my booty for being large and keeping me balanced so I don't fall forward or backwards, But it's true. Like, we can be silly about it. I don't mean
Right.
it in an insulting way, but just
No.
thanks. Thanks
Yeah.
for being there. Thanks for helping me do this, that.
Yeah.
I'll say to my legs, thank you for the few things that I can reach because you're very short. And, my arms, thank you for being longer and being able to have long monkey fingers, as I call them, so I can
Right.
reach those really hard to do things in the grocery store as I stand on that bottom shelf.
And I think when you what you're offering people is that when you start thanking, like if you historically are someone who wakes up with that dread feeling or feeling of dread, I've got to pick out something to wear. I'm gonna have to look in the mirror.
Right.
If there's that cringeness, when you start thanking the little and small and everything in between,
Mm.
the gratitude and just being nice to yourself, right? We talk about just being nice to ourselves.
Yeah.
And when you start thanking yourself, the greatest gift is that you're saying, I respect you. I appreciate you. I'm going to work with you. I will not abandon you. I will not reject you. I will not harm you. We will be together.
Yes. And I think when we learn to do that, we learn to overcome what we have been trained is health. And we have been told by society, maybe by your family, by the people in your life, that health equals hustle,
Mm.
health equals being shame and critical so that you're motivated,
Right.
or health equals how you look.
So if any of those resonate with you, even write them down because we're going to challenge you to drop those. Say those again.
Right.
You may have been given some of these beliefs,
Misbeliefs
misbeliefs. Thank you. Well, I like that. You may have been given misbeliefs.
that you absorbed, took on, believed, identified with for whatever reason. And I think they are about being hustle, fast, quick, doing all, not saying no, shame, shame
Mm.
over maybe not looking a certain way, maybe eating something, maybe not doing something, maybe not having the perfect workout, or it's about appearance. Like, I've got to look this way, or I've got to lose this amount of weight before I X. I mean, how many women are like, oh, I have a wedding, I have summer, I have this trip, I got to lose whatever before this event.
Right.
But that's not real because it's not sustainable.
And if right now this is resonating with you with some of the messaging or even what you're giving yourself, go back and replay this because that may resonate with you. And now picture Christina and I at a coffee shop or on a walk with you, and we're inviting you that just because that was given to you or told to you or shown to you on social media, you get to now choose what you're going to do with it. And we're giving you a hell yeah and cheerleading you on if you want to change some of those mindsets or, as Christina corrected me and I love, misbeliefs.
Yeah. It's exactly as Helene said. Like, it is time to turn the corner on a new pattern of believing where you're not waking up with dread. You're not waking up with guilt because you had a glass of wine last night. You're not waking up with shame over the fact that you slept through your alarm clock when your body needed sleep and you didn't go to the gym. It's honoring what your body needs in the moment and being able to be comfortable in your own skin. That you look at your clothes and think, what's going to feel good on my body today versus what's going to cover up this or that.
Oh, I love that shift in thinking.
Today, I will not lie, I am wearing a longer sweatshirt because it's comfortable and it is a cold, rainy day here in June. And it's like in the lower 50s. And I was just like, I want comfort today. And, my initial thought was like, oh, I want to look cute for the podcast. And then I was like, yeah, these people are my friends. They're okay with me in a sweatshirt. They're cool. And I want to be comfortable today. Like, that's what matters to me, is to feel comfortable and warm, have my lovely coffee, and
Mhm.
just appreciate a cold, rainy day.
And be together. I know it's like if people come into the office and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm really sorry I'm dressed this way," or "I'm going to the gym." I'm like, "You could come in your pajamas. Just show up for yourself." And I think that's what we're just asking and inviting you to do. Show up for your health. And a lot of that starts with your mindset and how you treat it.
200% it starts with your mindset. 200%. If your mind is not in a place of honoring and respecting your body, your workouts are a waste. I'm going to tell you that right now. Your
Right.
workouts are a waste because you're going to head to one extreme or the other. You're either going to eat too much shit and the workout means nothing, or you're not going to eat at all and the workout is now means nothing because your body is trying to store energy from you not eating and doing a workout. So if your mind is not in the right place, you're not getting yourself where you need to be.
Right.
And it starts with gratitude, appreciation for your body. You know, if you are somebody who gets to have all four limbs,
Mm.
you already are gifted. And if you are somebody who's learned how to accommodate for not having a limb or multiple limbs,
Mm.
like that's a gift that your body has found ways
Yeah.
to navigate not being quote unquote complete as people have defined it. I'm not saying your body isn't complete. I'm saying that's
Right.
how society sees it. And so, you know, you've got to look at what your body can do. What is your body capable of? If you see me, I'm 4'11". I didn't even get 5 feet. Okay. So, one of the things I'm not thanking my body for is height,
Right.
but I am thanking my body that, you know what? When it's a 3-row SUV, I'm the girl that can fit in the back when my 6 foot tall husband can't. So, I'm
Right.
grateful for that.
Yep.
I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that when I fly on a plane, I don't pay for a seat because I'm too darn cheap because I don't care if I get the center seat because I'm small. Who gives a shit?
And it's finding the gifts in what you have rather than
Right.
criticizing, striving for perfection. It's finding the gifts of what your body has and what it does for you.
Hmm.
You know, it reminds me of a cousin, and she's also really short. And cousin Rachel, if you're listening, I hope I'm telling this story correct. And she was super athletic. She went to GW, and the story goes something like someone approached her and said, "Hey, like, do you do athletics?" And she's super athletic throughout high school. P.S. Like, they asked her to be a flyer on the cheerleading team and had like got a scholarship, got to travel all over, had amazing experiences. And when she was younger, you know, I think she really like even had conversations with her doctors of like, how do I get more height? How do I get more leverage? How do I get more noticeability? Girl, she didn't need to be noticed. She already was. And it became an amazing asset and experience for her academically, socially.
Hmm.
So it's finding what you have and being okay with it, you know? And it's also like appreciating, like I could say, you know, for years, I would say, like, my hair is really thick, like, you're very stereotypical, like, I would say, like, Jewish, super thick, like, wavy hair. And when you go from losing all your hair, losing your eyebrows, losing your eyelashes, half your nails are black, and now my hair is just very different, like, I'm just grateful that I have it, right? It's just
Yeah.
coming from a place of being grateful for what you have,
Hmm.
because at some point you could lose it, or at some point you may not even care as much. It's just really, you know, I didn't allow myself to be grateful because I struggled at that point in my life. Like, still, I wanted to be perfect and all those things. Now I'm just like so grateful. Like,
Hmm.
I could play pickleball. And then I look at like people ahead of me, right? Like a couple of weeks ago, Ryan and I were playing with these two gentlemen, and then we switched partners around because there was a lot of open courts. And this one gentleman that I was playing with, he's like, "We're gonna kick their ass." He's like, "We're not leaving. Like, you guys beat me. No, we're game on." And I'm all in my head, right? Like, if you go back to like super thinking,
Yep.
he goes, "I'm 83 years old." He goes, "We're gonna kick their ass." He's like, "Our bodies can move. We've got this." And I'm like, man, like he needed to be on this podcast. So it's also like how you talk about it,
A hundred
how you
percent.
communicate to other people. That goes also back to mindsets. You know, I'm taking us off, Christina. The more we do this, we're on like episode
No,
50.
it is mindset and
Yeah.
it's multidimensional. Like,
Oh, talk to us
ugh,
more about that.
here's
Your
so
health
I'm
is
trying to not take
multidimensional.
myself on a medical tangent, but I'm going to do it for a hot second. So, absolutely drives me nuts in medicine how we have completely divided the body. We've got specialists and everything. Nobody fucking communicates. And I'm sorry, but the body is one unit. Your mind is connected to the rest of it. The rest of it's connected to your mind. Like we are one unit. It's not like we take the head off and the rest of it works,
Right.
or we take the head with us and leave the body behind. Like you separate those two, it's over, friends. It's over. You're done.
Mm.
So it's one unit. With that said, we're multifaceted, we're multidimensional, right? We have the physicality, we have all the different parts of the body. And even within the mind, it's multidimensional. You know, the mind just does a lot of unconscious functions that we don't think about every day, from breathing, heart rate, blood flow, all, right? Regulations, all of this stuff, on
Yeah.
top of the fact that it thinks,
Mm.
it's the conscious process,
Yes.
and it also can push us to grow this physicality of us.
Mm.
Like, it is so stinking powerful.
Right.
It is so powerful. So we've got the physical, how the body functions. Then we've got the mental,
Mm.
how your body either supports or sabotages you, right? When those
Mm.
negative thoughts come in, the trauma triggers, all of that shit, it can start sabotaging you. It sabotaged my mom. Like, my mom was like, I'm not doing this, right? And
Right.
we lost her too young. And my response to that was like, no, my mind is going to support me and teach my body how to be healthy. Like,
Say
I'm
that
going to
again.
do what's in my power to ensure I don't get that fucking diabetes if I can help it.
My mind is going to teach me what I needed to do, and I am going to actively listen and learn each and every
100%.
day. That goes back to us talking about it. It's a relationship.
And it can switch to a trauma too. So I'll confess here that after my mom died, we had lots of glucometers to like check your sugar and stuff like that, with lots of strips and lots of those little needles. And I hijacked them all. So here's my confession: I literally hijacked them all, and I would randomly check my sugar because I was like, if I'm going to get diabetes, I'm going to know about it right away. Like, I need to know right away.
Right.
And not going to lie, this literally went on for years where I would randomly secretly check my sugar, and it was always normal.
Mhm.
I would eat something sugary and I would give it like 15 minutes or 30 minutes and I would like go check it, you know? And I finally confessed this to a doctor, and
Mm.
they were like, what do you need to feel safe in your body?
Ooh, love that, doctor. Thank you.
Right. She's phenomenal. Oh,
What do
my
you need?
primary physician is incredible. What do you need to feel safe in your body? And that was a pivotal moment in there. And I thought, Christina, you've had it. Like, you have had it. You have known for years, you've known, you've got a ton of data to show that you don't have it,
Yeah.
and you're working out, and you're eating healthy. Now, not to say that there isn't occasional that I enjoy my sweet treats. This morning when Helene and I logged on, what was I eating, Helene?
Sprinkle chocolate donut.
It was amazing. Cake donut, Cubs boots.
Because remember, we said health is not perfection. We have
Right.
busted that myth.
Right. And then it's the emotional part, how you're processing life. Like, in that moment when she asked me, what does your body need to feel safe? And I thought, my body needs to do one more round of grieving. Who would have thought that had to do with health,
Right.
right?
Where did it come from? Right.
Yeah. And so emotionally, I processed another moment of realizing my mom's life experience was not mine.
So, friends, that's a huge gift.
Right.
Take that gift from Christina's primary care. Thank you to whoever you are. What do you need to feel safe in your body? And sometimes it may not be exercise, diet, a test. It
Mm-hmm.
may be some emotional work
Mm-hmm.
that's creeping back in at a different life stage or a season that's reminding you of a past trauma or loss. And it might be time to snuggle in that comfy blanket and just honor what you're needing emotionally.
Yeah. A friend of mine did the Chicago Marathon a few years in a row. And if
Mhm.
anybody knows, one, it's hard to get into the Chicago Marathon, not quite as hard as New York City, but not too far off. And you have to raise a certain amount of money for a cause.
Mhm.
And she had lost her dad to cancer, and she chose to run it in honor of him. And then the next year, her brother joined her and did the same, and they both raised the money for the
Wow.
American Cancer Society. And that was part of her coming to reality with her health and in the same token, working through her mental and emotional and spiritual well being as interconnected with her body.
Wow, what a beautiful way to honor him, relationally have a connection with her brother, and then explore what she needed within herself.
Yeah, it was amazing. And each mile she chose to run each mile for somebody that
Mm.
either was a cancer survivor or had lost their life to cancer. And so
Well,
like one of the miles she ran was for my mother-in-law Joni.
oh,
Yeah, and I found her during that mile and gave her a giant hug.
of course.
But yeah, it just was really powerful. And I remember her saying, like, I didn't think I had that many people connected to me that had a cancer story. And then
Yeah.
realizing how many people connected to me. She goes, I honestly could have run twice as many miles.
Wow.
Like, you don't realize until you realize. But
Yeah.
yeah. And I think we tend to focus on one part of our body instead of looking at it as multifaceted. And, it goes back to mind over matter.
Yeah. And I think now that Christina did that beautiful, like sharing that story and also reminding you or teaching you that health is multidimensional. Let's talk a little bit about listening to your body. So if you've hung out with us before, my body was screaming to me and even the words came out, but I didn't listen. So we're all going to learn sooner, bigger, not better, but just sooner. Like if you don't know that listening to your body is highly important, we're going to start being aware. And it usually can even start
Mhm.
really small. Like
Yeah.
if you think about it, our bodies are always speaking to us. Our bodies are always speaking to us. The real question is, are we listening? And I think going back to a little bit like what you shared about so often society has told us about like hustling, bustling, doing more, doing better. It can become really easy to not listen or override those signals.
Mhm.
Just push through that fatigue,
Mhm.
numb that pain, ignore the
Mhm.
tension, the anxiety. Like it's knocking. And oftentimes in my office, personally, professionally, people numb it, they silence it, they muzzle it. And we're
Mhm.
encouraging the biggest gift right now is to just drop that shit.
Mhm.
We want you to listen. If it whispers, hey, you're tired. Hey, running that last mile just
Mhm.
didn't feel great on my body. To stop and listen because its voice is really powerful. It's like Christina said, it's full of your brain giving you information. Receive that memo.
Mhm.
Drink the water,
It, again, it
the
doesn't have to
breaths.
be huge. It can be little. Like you just said, drink a glass of water,
Yeah,
walk to the mailbox,
right.
right? Take your dogs for a walk. I mean, I did that at 5:30 this morning in the rain. And at first I was grumpy and then thought, you know what? What's the positive in this? The smell of rain air is beautiful.
Yeah,
My sweet dog is getting drenched and looking hilarious. The fact that I have rain boots that I can glosh on my feet.
yeah,
So, absolutely, when we listen to our bodies,
right.
I always tell people too, like, especially when it comes to sleep, your body will force you to catch up,
Yep.
whether you want to or not. So, if you keep functioning like I chronically do, and this is probably my biggest culprit, on 5, 6 hours of sleep,
Hmm.
your body will crash you
Right.
and make you sleep a ton. And it literally happened to me last weekend. Like, I took probably over Friday and Saturday, I took 2 naps on
Yeah.
top of it because my body was just like, "Sleep, bitch." It was like
Right.
not
It's
listening.
sending you the signals. And again,
Right.
if you're great at listening, like, hell yeah. Like, put it on our social. Like, this is how I listen. Let us learn from the rest of the community.
Oh, I would love
I
that.
Right. Put on our Instagram. fuel it up, girls, women, like men. If you're like, I am good at listening, this is how I do it, this is what the benefit is, keep teaching us.
100%.
Because again, I need this more than anyone. Like
Me
years
too.
ago, when even not that long ago, I was doing Orange Theory a lot. And, this gentleman next to me said, I'm not going to be a jerk, but like, I'm a doctor. You need to slow down because your number is way too high. So if you've been on Orange Theory, like you wear a heart monitor. And here's the thing, I was already feeling dizzy. Here's the thing, I already noticed it was really high. But still, then I was like, go big, go home. I've got to burn the 600 calories. I've got to do all the things. And you know what? I had completely dehydrated myself. I could barely
Mhm.
drive home, right? For someone who had 7 surgeries from cancer, like, I want to stay the fuck out of a hospital. I literally said to my husband, I don't know if I could drive home. I might go straight to the hospital. Took me several days to hydrate myself. Fast forward, I've done it again and again, not to the same level, but to the point like my body's cramping. So I'm on a cruise, I don't know, last year with my girlfriend, who I love, one of my greatest friends, and also, is like type A, fell in love with her. She was like Monica on Friends the first time I went to her house. She had labels everywhere. I was like, I love you, total girl crush. I know, I know.
I want to be her friend.
I know. And she then also had her own cancer story. So, P.S., we're talking about like what I've done to myself over and over again. And she's like, Helene, you know what? Everyone walks around with those Stanleys. And she's like, you know what? I went and I got one and I fill that thing up and I don't leave my office until I've drank 2 of them. So we're on a cruise. I'm like, okay. I ordered one right then and there. And I still don't do great, but I'm doing better. I'm doing better
Yeah.
because I don't want it. So, like,
You're so funny. I have a white Stanley too, and it was a gift.
no, this is gifting me because I don't listen. I would have water next to me, but I wouldn't stop to drink it. So now I just tell people in the office, this is what I did to myself, and I'm going to drink some water. So, like, listen to
And
your
nobody
body.
cares if you're drinking water while they're
No one
talking to you.
cares. But I was like, no, I don't want to be rude. All the things, right? All that
So
messaging.
I wish I could show you. Like, I have a collection here. Here's my water cups.
See, I told you, Christina's learned ahead of me. Like,
My coffee cup. I literally have like a bar on my desk.
this. Yeah.
So, and here's
Here's the thing.
my leftover donut plate.
Listen to your body because it will keep telling you.
Right. And yes, it will tell you when food isn't right for you. It will tell you when food is good for you. It will tell you
Yeah.
what it needs. And it will scream at you. And
Yeah.
absolutely, it'll scream at you through pain,
Mhm.
dizziness, migraines, stomach issues, all of it.
Yeah.
And, like you said, you can start small to listen to it. I always say one of the things that scares me most about painkillers is that it stops your body from communicating with itself. And
Mm.
that's what scares me the most. And that's probably the biggest reason why, even after my C sections, when they were like, you need pain meds, and I was like, no, because I
Mhm.
wanted my body to tell me how it felt, because then I knew if it was healing or not, how it was healing, all of that,
Right.
and I wanted it to teach me what it needed. And I was also afraid that if I didn't feel the pain, knowing me, because I'm go big and go home too, I would overdo it and get
Right.
myself in trouble. Where if I felt the pain, it would slow me down.
Right. It goes back to that signal
Hmm.
telling you what it needs. And it's inviting you, it's begging you, please
Right.
take care of me. Please work with me. Please have a relationship with me. It is sending you a signal. And the hope is that it can trust you.
Absolutely. And when we realize that our body isn't against us, our body is trying to protect us, and our body just wants us to listen and to listen to us. It wants to be in relationship with us. It heals and you get health. That's what you get out of it, is your health.
Right. And with health, you get life. I remember early on, like I think there was a couple of times like I was going to work and, I had a cold and Grandma Jean would be like, clean, without health, you don't have life. I'd be like, oh,
Mhm.
grandma, I'm good. And she's like, No, if you're not feeling well, you should not be going to the office. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to people in the office. And I wasn't like with a temperature, but like a runny nose. I'm like, okay, Grandma Jean. Okay. So sprinkle me, sprinkle Christina, sprinkle some more Grandma Jean for the gifts of how to take care of your health and notice that it's so vital to having an it's your birthday life.
Right. And you can create health rituals. It doesn't need to be rules, rigid routines, anything like that, but habits that support your health, such as Helene with her Stanley Cup, or, me walking the dogs. Things like that are rituals that equal a healthier lifestyle. Turning off your screens an hour before bedtime, nourishment without rigidity. It
Mm.
doesn't have to be an all or nothing. It doesn't have to be a go big or go home.
So those are some huge gifts that we're dropping
Hmm.
right now to all of you out there. Some gifts of ritual. Again, doesn't have to be big or go home, which is a little bit outside of the wheelhouse of Christina and I in life, of how you can start honoring your body and then your health. I love those.
Right. And then it's, you know, realizing the role of stress and when you're under stress, like what do you need to do to walk through that stress? If it's things that you can't change right now in your life, things that are out of your control, then what do you need to do to fill yourself up more in other areas?
Can you
Do
talk
you
for a moment
need,
about that? What does that mean?
well, I'm thinking like, I don't know, life stressors, right? Like some things are out of our control. Like maybe, your company's doing cutbacks and layoffs are coming and things like that. Like you don't have power over that,
Right.
but you do have power of being more conscious of making sure that you're getting sleep, making sure that you're following your bedtime routine so your brain knows to shut off. That you are eating healthier so that you aren't letting your body get into a physical funk over it,
Mm,
though you're feeling the stress of it all.
awesome. Okay. That makes really a lot of sense. Thank
I
you.
think it's spiritual health, feeling connected, at peace, knowing your purpose, feeling like you have a purpose.
Right. That's a big one I get often. Yeah.
What grounds you? Helene loves to journal. She talks about it regularly and encourages people to do it. For me, it's a lot of meditation and spending time in nature. Like nothing fills me up more than a good walk, a good hike, appreciating animals. I get so excited when I see animals on paths.
Aw.
Like the other day, we were actually in our neighborhood by the creek, and there was a deer, and I was like a little kid and it was watching me and I was watching it. I mean, I think it was watching me because my dog was with, but we just like stared at each other and I was like, "You are beautiful. And thank you for blessing me on my walk this morning."
Mm,
It was gorgeous.
okay.
So, what grounds you
Yeah.
in honoring your journey?
Right.
Helene,
Don't judge it. Honor it.
what have you learned? Like you have been on one hell of a journey.
I mean, I've learned so much. And and this I don't think I would be as healthy and who I am unless I had gone through cancer. And I'm
Mhm.
not wishing I wouldn't wish it on myself. Probably one of the top 3 hardest things I've ever done. But the other side of it is a healthier version of me that I'm much more forgiving. People see my energy being a little lighter. I fall back into the potholes of like old habits, but it definitely taught me to really appreciate health, my body,
Mhm.
life, relationships.
And understanding that progress over perfection.
Yes. I need to probably have that like stamped on my forehead.
Mm. Me too. Me too.
So, friends, because Christina left a little thing that I do love to leave people with, like a mindful or a thought provoking idea. The one little gift that we're going to do before we get ready to sign up with you guys is maybe we challenged you with a question when we started, and we're going to leave you with a question. What does a healthy life look like to me? No, I'm sorry.
Mm.
What does a healthy life feel like to me? Not look like.
Yeah.
That's the question we're going to leave you with. What does a healthy life feel like to me, not just look like.
And here's what I would say. If you don't know, spend time exploring what you want to try
Mm,
and see if that makes you feel healthy. Try things. You don't have to get it perfect. And I would say it evolves. What felt like a healthy life to me even 5 years ago is different than what it feels like right now.
right.
Like you will evolve, you will change. So be real as you sit with yourself and answer, what does a healthy life feel? And I feel like feel should be like neon blasting sign. Feel
Yep.
like to me, not to anybody else, to you.
Right. Without judgment, without perfection. Yes.
Yes. So, friends, thank you for joining us on this beautiful journey.
Mm,
Very important conversation of defining your health. If this episode resonated with you, we would love it if you would leave us a review wherever you listen to us. And as always, remember to share it with someone that you love. And you are worth a life that feels good inside and out. Hang out with us on social during the week. Remember our gifts from the couch on Mondays and know that you can always find us on Insta, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, and YouTube. Until next week, happy birthday!